Hello! So today we are going to have a proper look at the Vans RV-14A in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've used this aircraft in lots of live streams over the last year or so, but I've never actually stopped to have a proper look at it in the simulator. So that's what we're doing today. We are at Booker Airfield to do this test flight. So I've set the weather to be in the summer so we get nice weather to have a proper look at it. I've got a bit of a funny story about Booker before we get started. So I was at a New Year gathering of friends this year, and we were all talking about what everybody's been up to during the year, and one of our friends' daughters was there. She's about 21, and she said, "Oh, I actually changed jobs this year." And it turns out she's been working in the restaurant at Wickham Air Park, Booker Airfield, and cooking for everybody for the last year. So while we've been doing all these activities flying here and doing training things from the virtual airline here, it turns out a good friend's daughter has been working here all along. I'll have to try and get a photo of her to stick on the discussion forum on Discord or something, just so everybody can put a face to one of the real people that that work here. Anyway, we're here to have a look at the Vans RV-14 today. So it's an experimental aircraft, so you can buy it as a kit, I believe, in the real world. We can buy it from SimWorksStudios, and it only costs about £14, which is, $16, something like that. So let's go and jump inside it. You can see it's really nicely modelled, inside and out. So we're going to go and pull the canopy down. And you can see the sunshade here. We can actually go and drag it with the mouse, I believe. There we go. So we're not going to use it there. We're going to pull it out of the way. And we can lock the canopy with this latch here. First things first then, we will go and turn the fuel shutoff valve to the left side of the aircraft. We'll go and push the mixture all the way forward so it's rich. We'll go and turn the master battery switch on, turn the alternator on, turn the avionics battery switch on, and the avionics master switch on. We'll also turn on the autopilot power, we'll turn on the nav lights, and this is where we're going to turn the engine over. So we'll put the propeller condition all the way forwards, we'll crack the throttle open, and we turn the ignition switch and the engine turns over. Hurrah! Okay, so we put the flaps to takeoff position, we release the parking brake, and we advance the throttle gently, and we're rolling. So you can see it floating around on the suspension. It's very easy to handle on the ground. So let's have a look at this from outside while we're taxiing. As you can see, it's quite a small aircraft. Like I said, you can buy it as a kit in the real world. Apparently it's very efficient on fuel, which is why a lot of people buy it. Also, it's quite aerobatic, so we'll see that when we do the flight. So I'm going to do a quick circuit first, and then we'll take it up and do some aerobatics. So just slow down a little bit so we don't tip on the corner here. Okay, let's turn the strobes on and the landing lights, and we don't need the taxi lights anymore. Straighten that view up. Actually, I'll pan down a little bit. Okay, so full throttle. We should be able to rotate at about 60 knots quite safely. So pulling back, and we're off the ground straight away. Flaps up. It accelerates very quickly. So we're up to 90 knots, 100 knots. One thing that is fantastic about this aircraft is visibility. You can see it's almost unrivaled. So for sightseeing, it's a firm favourite, to be honest. There's somebody else flying over there, isn't there? Okay, so we're flying. We've just taken off from Booker, so we've got High Wycombe behind us. We've got Marlow over this way somewhere. Over here. So if we then turn left to 60 degrees, so we've got the compass down here on the G3000. You'll notice it's got the G3000 screens, it's also got the GTN 750 in the middle. It's built into the aircraft and it does actually appear to work. It doesn't seem to be as badly affected by Sim Update 11 as some of the other aircraft. So I'm just pulling it back to 50% throttle and 50% mixture as we come round. So while we're just flying downwind here, let's trim the airplane out. So like I said, it's very docile. So if we look out, we can see, actually you can't see the runway because it's beneath the wing there. That's one of the only downers with it, is the wing is in the way of your vision downwards. But if you're just looking to the quarter views, it's absolutely fantastic. It's very fast and it's very slippery. It's worth pointing out. So if we go for like 70% throttle, it will accelerate up to 150 knots without too much trouble at all, even at 50% mixture. So yeah, at the moment we're still climbing at nearly 1,000 feet a minute. Let's just level ourselves out and you can see the speed coming on pretty quickly. Which just goes to show, with the mixture leaned out and the throttle at a sensible setting, you can go a very long way. Okay, so let's go and turn back in and try out an approach. You see, because the visibility is so good, it becomes very, very easy to navigate and to fly around. Obviously we're in a cloud at the moment, but we know which way we're going though. Coming back round to about 240, there's the runway. So coming off the throttle, watching the speed bleed off. You have to be quite careful about side slipping it because you can get it to drop a wing. I'll show you in a moment once we get back away from this circuit. So I'm going to go and drop the flaps now. So look, we're coming in incredibly steeply. The reason we can get away with that is the flaps are actually quite big. So they act as very good brakes. So I'm just introducing the throttle gently, just keeping an eye on the indicated airspeed to keep us away from a stalling situation. Because remember, we're doing a touch and go anyway, we're not going to stop. Okay, so rotate out above the runway, and we're down. Full throttle, lift the flaps and pull away gently, and we're back in the air again, and we can lift the flaps entirely. Okay, so we'll just get a little bit of altitude and then we'll turn back to 60 degrees again, and then we'll try some aerobatics, because this aircraft is remarkably capable in terms of aerobatics. So I'm going to go full rich on the mixture before we do it as well. So just to prove the point while we're doing that, this GTN 750, it all works. It's all there. You know, you can use it. You can program your flight plan in, and it will appear on the G3000s. Okay, so let's turn back to 60 degrees. And then we'll put this thing through its paces a little bit. We'll do some stalls, we'll do some rolls, do a loop, see how it gets on. Because it's almost like a patterned shape, it will roll almost on its axis, which is quite unusual. Okay, so we'll get some speed up first. So if we just raise the nose gently and no elevator input, You saw it will almost roll on its axis. Do that once more, go left this time. It's quite stunning, isn't it? So if we... There's a big dark cloud there. If we do this side then. Give it a bit of rudder, just to straighten us up. Oh, it's going to fall over. There it goes. Okay, so let's make it stall. So we're just watching the attitude indicator here and feeding in backstick as we lose speed, and it wants to drop the left wing, but we were able to counter it, look, and it comes down straight. So it didn't completely drop the wing. We were able to still have control in the stall. So let's try a powered stall this time and see if it behaves the same way. So 40 degrees, the speed is coming off, feeding in more and more backstick, and it's dropping the wing, and I can't stop it from dropping it. Okay, so I'll let the nose fall, get some speed back. Okay, let's relocate the airfield. Somewhere nearby, there it is. So we'll come back down onto the downwind leg again. Let's just try it through a loop, see how it behaves. Okay, get some speed up. It's absolutely on rails, isn't it? Picked up quite a lot of speed coming down out of the loop, but it's not dangerous. The maximum speed's 200, that's 40 knots away from where we ended up out of the loop. Okay, can we make it tumble? Let's try. No, is the answer to that. Even... oh, nearly. In common with quite a lot of the aircraft in Flight Simulator, and I think it's more to do with its modelling of extreme situations. If you use negative elevator, you can get them to tumble. Let's try it again in a moment. So, no, it's not going to tumble, look. It's wanting to, but... Anyway, before we destroy the airframe, let's go back in for a final landing. Rejoin the left pattern into runway 24, shall we? So we're looking for 1500 feet. And 60 degrees. So there's 1500 feet. There's the airfield. flaps, turn in. So it's just about managing the speed now. Obviously I have a nice still day, so I'm not having to fight a crosswind or anything like that, but I can reassure you from flying this in the past, it's very, very easy to fly in crosswinds. There we go. Flaps up. So if we turn off the runway into the grass, you will hear that it has very good simulation of the sound of the grass as well. Or not. Okay, so we just taxi back in, go and park up. You sit up in the seat, you can get a bit more of a look over the nose. Like I said, ground handling is very, very straightforward. Okay, so parking brake on, pull the mixture which will starve the engine, and it's just a case of coming down, turning the alternator off, turning the magnetos off, and turn all the lights off, avionics off, and we're good to go. Turn the fuel mixture back to off, we can then unlatch the canopy, and we can go and nip in the cafe and grab a bacon sandwich made by a good friend, it turns out. Anyway, see you all again soon.